In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to work with a Photoshop template to make the 1200 by 300 hero banner that is prevalent on so many UVM's web pages. The 1200 by 300 banner can be one continuous 1200 pixel wide image, or it can be made up of 2 or even 3 images. For this tutorial, we're going to be working with just 2 images. One on the left is 821 pixels wide, and the one on the right is 379. The Photoshop template has some layers in it. Here's the layers panel right here. And what we've done is added in a 4 position only or FPO layer to give you a preview of what the final image would look like with a simulated caption layer on top of it. Because when this is in the website, there is this extra layer on the right, and it's covering up 379 pixels on the right side of your image. So that is important to know because you can put something under there that is not quite as important, but adds maybe a texture to your overall image. The production note layer just is reminding us the proportions of these sides, and then we have some layers for the left and layers for the right. We'll get into that, but first we need to have some pictures to work with. So the photo shelter at the University of Vermont is where it's our library for photography. It's a great source. It's free for us to use. I am going to make a demo around dining, a banner around dining. I'm going to take this image for my left and this image for my right, just for demo. So the size that you need has to be big enough to be sharp, and just keep in mind that if you put bad quality images in your banner, it's not going to get better. So garbage in, garbage out. For the left side, the minimum width you would want would be the 1200 because it's 821. So if you think that you're going to be scaling down or taking a portion of the image, then get something bigger and then you can crop out what you want. I'm going to take the 1200. And then the right side, it's only 379, but I always take the 1200 because maybe you end up switching these around. So I have my 2 images. I'm going to jump back over to Photoshop. And I have my template here. And I have some images. That's the one I downloaded for the right. And this is the one I downloaded for the left side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pull the tab away from the main group of tabs so that it's in its own window, separate from everything else. And then I'm going to bring up the template here and then expand the left layer set, and where it says put your image in here, double click on that and it's going to open up in another tab, left image, size, and then .psv. So we're working with smart objects in Photoshop, and there are 2 cues to know that you're working with a smart object. If you look at the icon in the bottom right of this layer, it has a it's the icon for smart objects. So that's what that looks like. And also when you expand it, it has a .psb suffix, meaning Photoshop big. So why are you even bothering with smart objects? Smart objects are non-destructible. So you can scale them, you can make changes to it, and it will not impact the original. It will always leave that one unchanged, and you can go back to it. So it's like adding a change layer on top of it, but the actual original is not changing. And this is really great to allow us to scale bigger or smaller without losing quality. So we have that open, and I'm going to just get that that dining image here. So now I have both of these tabs open side by side. It's important because I'm going to take this one, I clicked on it to activate it, and I'm going to hold the shift key down and I'm going to drag my layer from one tab, one window to the other. And I close that one because I don't need it anymore. And this image is now in my Photoshop Big Smart Object file. I'm not going to crop it or scale it or anything. I'm going to do that back in the other master file. I'm just going to save it. Command S on Mac, Control S on Windows, and then come back here. So I think I want to crop this a little different or scale it. Don't worry about that yet. Let's do the right image. So let's open up that Smart Object PSB file. And again, what we're looking for is something related, but something to just add some texture on that right side. It extends the image in a non-obtrusive way. It shows up underneath that caption. And let's get that campus dining image and pull that tab away. Grab that layer. We need actually need the PSB. Where is it? Okay, if you lose your layer, go back up to the window in the top and you can scroll through what's opened and there's the PSB, right? Image PSB. So there it's back. I click on that image that I intend to be on the right, grab my layer, hold the shift key down and drop it. Save, Command S or Control S, and close the PSB and close my original because I don't need it anymore. Now we have them composited in our template file. I'm going to save because it's a good thing to do in case your computer crashes. Rare. And now I hit the V key on my keyboard to change my cursor. I'll do it again. So say I have the rectangle selection tool and I hit V, it changes to that crosshair cursor, which lets me move things around on the screen. If you hold down Shift key, you can constrain, where it's moving. I'm just going to move the image with the keyboard and the control thing so it starts about here and we're going off the screen at the bottom. I want to make sure I am not leaving holes and gaps. That's pretty good. And this one, I'm fine with it for now. Maybe we want to just look at the layers and see what it might look like with that type on top. It's okay. And so when you're happy with that, you would just save it again and then export for web. Export for web is Command Option Shift S, and it brings up the settings, and I usually save it as either JPEG or PNG. JPEG has a bit more colors, so just make sure with PNG you're not having any areas that are dropping out. If it's a sky, the sky gradation may band. So JPEG at 100% or PNG is your target. You can see it's going from 1 meg down to 369 approximately, and that's fine. Leave it at 100 quality because Drupal is going to further optimize it when you upload it to Drupal. So now I'm just going to save it. And its name is the name by default of the Photoshop file, which is the actual banner template. So we don't want to leave that as that, right? So I might go like banner underscore dining hyphen 1200 by 300. Very important to put the size of your image in that file name because it gives you something you can consistently always look for. If you're in Drupal and you're trying to place a hero banner and you can't find your file, you don't remember what it's called, if you know it's 1200 by 300 or 1200 by 260 and you're always labeling your file with the size in it, you can search for 1200 or 1200x 300 and find your image easily. That's that. In another video, I'm going to troubleshoot for you, like what to do with problem images.